In his final address, President Obama thanks a crowd of 18,000 in Chicago. He touted what he sees as his successes and focused on themes of social justice, fairness, and diversity. The president had one more request for the country.
The same thing I asked when you took a chance on me 8 years ago. I'm asking you to believe, not in my ability to bring about change, but in yours.
President Obama momentarily fought back tears as he thanked his wife and daughters. He also spoke to Vice President Joe Biden and his wife, Jill, saying their friendship has been one of the great joys of his life. Joining us now to discuss the president's farewell address and other topics are Tim Carney, commentary editor of the Washington Examiner, and Star Parker, president of the Center for Urban Renewal and Education. Welcome to the program, both of you.
Well, thank you.
Star, for American Catholics and Christians, what will be the defining moments of the president's presidency?
I think that we should be very concerned that the president changed this country for maybe 100 years, depending on what happens on the Supreme Court over the next couple. When you think about the worldview that he portrayed through his presidency, that he portrayed going into it, a very secular and statist worldview, that this is problematic to Christians all over the world, and in particular here in America, to watch their religious liberty unravel because of things they fundamentally believe because of the scriptures.
Tim.
I agree. I think you can't overstate how much the sort of battleground in the culture wars had shifted, where the left could sort of plausibly argue to be arguing on the defensive, 20 years ago. Now it's very clear when you see what they tried to do to the Little Sisters of the Poor, the Hobby Lobby case, that they are going to use big government to push their side in the culture war. That it's not about us letting other people live their lives how they want to. It's about them telling us that we have to follow the rules. That wasn't the case. It's hard to remember now, but the church believers weren't under such attack from the federal government so much before Obama did it, and state governments have followed too.
Star, you said that it's set us back. How difficult will it be to reverse?
Well, it depends on how you do that. It set us back because we have now persecution of Christians in America. This is just unprecedented. This country was founded fleeing to found this country in Christianity. They were fleeing this type of persecution. So it set us back. Some are saying that Trump has come in and is almost going to be like Constantine. Well, if he is, that could be pretty problematic in some degree. But on the other side, Constantine built the church.
All right, let's move on to today's news. And Trump praised some of the press today at the news conference, but he also really lit into them for some fake news, is what he is calling it. Is this a warning sign of what we can expect for journalists, or is it a wake-up call, an opportunity for Christian media maybe to get more play in the White House?
I saw some reasons to be cheered by what Trump was doing, where he said, I'm the guy who has the actual power to stand up to the media that will lie about you and lie to you. And that's true, but then he went and he folded CNN in with BuzzFeed. And the background there was BuzzFeed published these unverified rumors, just the actual documents, while CNN was very careful. They followed the rules of journalism. So Trump is lumping people who kind of broke the rules of journalism in with people who just reported a story he didn't like. That's where I got worried, where his idea of standing up to the lying media also includes kind of cracking down on people who are critical of him. So it's a very tricky line there.
A fine line.
Watch it. We need to watch it because in that same amendment that gives us our constitutional rights to be free to worship, the First Amendment is also the amendment that gives us the right for an open and free press.
Star, let's wrap up here. We have just a little bit of time, but Ben Carson's confirmation hearing is tomorrow, and I interviewed him during the conventions. We talked about the importance of his faith. He works with you on helping poor communities. He's served on the advisory board of your organization. How will his faith and advocacy work influence what he does?
Well, he did serve on our advisory board, and he did not work hand in hand. In fact, he has chaired a literacy program all across this country with his wife, Candy, and it's fascinating that he is going to now head up HUD. HUD is the only anti-poverty program that touches every American's life and was responsible for the economic crash in 2008. So it's intriguing that he has taken that type of brilliance, being a medical doctor, taken that type of understanding of these communities by running literacy programs in our most hardest hit neighborhoods, Title I children, to now help them understand housing policy. And let's get this one right this time so that we don't have a collapse again.
All right, thank you so much, Star Parker and Tim Carney of the Washington Examiner.